Well, hello everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of RaceSpotTV Friday Prime Time. The Touring Car Challenge heads to Lime Rock Park for this round number 9 of the season. My name is Connery Maddock. I'm joined as ever by the wonderful Stefan Schlacker as we get more touring car action that we've become quite used to and we very much enjoy here on these Friday nights. Stefan, we head to a circuit which is, well, synonymous with rookie racing, at least here on the road side of iRacing. So these drivers will be very, very familiar with how this track is negotiated. And, well, again, another characteristically short lap time for this series as well.
Yeah, and quite honestly, I don't mind these shorter lap times. It gives us more racing, more passing opportunities as well. So yeah, you really can be thankful for these shorter races, shorter laps, because of the better racing we're seemingly getting.
Yeah, it does seem to be the case. So we are getting towards the end of the season now. Lime Rock Park round number 9. Then we head to Donington Park National. It used to be my local circuit. I've moved away from that area now, unfortunately. Then we head to Alton Park here for round number 11. And then we head back stateside for Laguna Seca for the final round of the season. So still a lot to look forward to here in the back end of this season, as we will join these drivers here in qualifying, as well, most of them have got it done already thanks to the how short the lap times are here, but there's still some drivers that have yet to get themselves their best efforts up onto the board. We can see what the standings are right now, with Adi Lopez on the top of the pile, with Kira Wolf in second place for the moment. Names that we're used to seeing at the top there.
Yeah, most definitely, but the gap, that is quite surprising. 3/10 nearly between second place Wolf and third place Orton. That is something that we don't see quite often in this series, that there's such a big gap inside pretty much the top 10, normally covered by such a gap. Now Figueroa goes to the middle of that, but even he just can close that up by about 800th of a second.
Absolutely. Not a lot of laps left in this session, remember. Like I said, it's a very short lap time, but you still get the same amount of time in qualifying as you would do at something like Spa-Francorchamps or something. So so these laps do come by very, very quickly. Here's Alejandro Bentos out there, the number 15 Hyundai, as he's heading his way down through towards the middle sector. Remember, we are using the chicane. Of course, the old version is if you joined iRacing more than a handful of years ago, when this track got redone and rescanned, you'd know that the non-chicane version was the one that we were most used to, but this one is the one with the chicane as well, which changes the complexion of that section by quite a bit, Stefan. No longer are you trying to swing it through that right-hander and trying to handle the car as it goes over the crest. It's a bit more safe.
Yeah, it is more safe, also a little bit easier with the flat and wide curbs that we now have on the new Lime Rock Park circuit.
Let's have a look then at the starting grid for this evening's race then, as Adi Lopez lines up on pole position with Kira Wolf in second place, Joseph Figueroa in P3 with Will Orton P4, Manuel Largo P5 with Zoran Radvosak there in P6, Michael Polisek in P7, Ollie Peacock starts in P8 with Rafael Lobato P9, John Simmons in Simeons in P10, we've got Pipu Rodriguez in P11, Nico Suarez P12, Martinho in 13th, Messeling P14, Heo in P15, Kare P16, Petari P17, and Freckleton P18. Bentos lines up in the 19th and final spot here today on the starting grid. And well, there's not a lot of time before we get ourselves going here. These drivers do like to get themselves rather rapidly set onto the starting grid, but thankfully we're going to be able to see the start of it this time around here, Stefan. We're just waiting for a handful of drivers to get themselves ready, waiting to go. Seeing a couple of cars in the mid-pack yet to get themselves towards the starting grid, but once we get the signal, we'll be all clear to go racing down in towards turn number 1. Remember, though, this isn't the only race that you'll see on RaceSpotTV this Friday night. Of course, we have the Bathurst 12-hour preview as well, where we'll be broadcasting one of the VRS splits before we get to see the special event this weekend. Just one more driver to get themselves ready on that starting grid before we get going. It's going to be pretty fast and frenetic here at Lime Rock Park. Copa Lopez starting in pole position. Kira Wolf second place. Figueroa and Orton are your second row. Looks like everyone is ready. We get that countdown to the green flag here at Lime Rock Park. We are racing here in the Touring Car Challenge for Friday night prime time. You can see them all swarming their way down in towards turn number 1. Copa Lopez has been able to get away well in the front. It's a big battle over P2 between Figueroa and Wolf down in towards turn number 1 for the first time. Figueroa has been able to gain that position, starting third place. Gets one over Kira Wolf, up into second now, as everyone else further behind. No dramas, it seems, through turn number 1. Everyone able to get themselves through unscathed. Whether or not that's the case for the rest of this lap still remains to be seen. But it's great to see these guys have themselves a very, very clean start. Now down in towards the chicane for the first time. Some passes being made in the background there in the mid-pack as, Ollie Peacock up into 7th place over Radosavik there in the background. But yeah, everything clean and tidy through there, Stefan.
Yeah, that was pretty much the only pass we saw. There was one more little bit further down the field, but it was expected to see a little bit more of action into the uphill chicane because obviously the short run to turn 1. Oh, who was that? That's an orange car. That is Rodriguez.
Pipo Rodriguez has found the barrier on the outside of turn number 1. Let's get a look at the replay to see how this one happened and to see if there's any contact. Oh, there might have been a little bit of contact from the car behind. Forces him wide through there. That's not the thing that killed him, though. Let's have a look. Oh, a little bit of a shoulder barge down into the final corner. Spits him out into the grass, and this is going to be an impact with the wall. Bang! That's the 17 out of the race.
Yeah, soon people touched the grass for the very first time. It was only a light touch, but that grass touch already was enough. That car was pretty much unsavable after that with the fast nature of that turn. Not a lot of runoff. The best hope was to throttle through that and maybe get out the other side unscathed, but no can do this time round for people. So we have pretty much our first Atari of the race already.
Yeah, we do, as everyone strings themselves out single file through turn number 1. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Just that one retirement so far in this race, and everyone clean through the first handful of laps here. We're expecting about 16 laps here at Lime Rock Park, as we'll get to see a little bit of dueling going on towards the very back of the field. Everyone's taking this one quite calmly, at least to start here at Lime Rock Park. It's not the typical touring car action that we see with the bumper banging and the door rubbing, but maybe we'll get to see a little bit more of that later on. But with a handful of minutes to go, everyone just content in their positions for now.
And I shall shut my mouth and revert everything I said. Pipo Rodriguez, not retired, still racing, 1 lap down, so great thing to see Pipo still racing there. Obviously forgot about that fast repair they have in the series.
Yep, they do have that available, so it's not an out-of-the-race thing. It's just to try and take the tow gap to pit lane, get that car repaired, and then get back out there. Of course, if you have to take the tow, that's still technically a time penalty with the amount of time it does take to tow you back to pit lane. You'd prefer to get back to pit lane under your own power to not lose that huge amount of time, but still, we can't have the ideal situation happen to you all the time. But there's the battle for P4 going on between Will Orton, Manu Realago. We've got Michael Polasek and Ollie Peacock involved in this, and I guess you can count Zoran Radosavik in this as well, as it's a great little battle going on here back in the pack. And they're sort of in a bit of danger area right now because they are losing quite a bit of time to those podium runners, so we might be seeing a significant split in your pack already with only a handful of minutes gone. And you can see Will Orton having to go very defensive in towards turn number 1 because here comes Manu Realago around the outside in the Honda Civic. It's Audi versus Honda action through turn number 1, and Polasek might have had half a mind to stick a nose down the inside there. He actually gets 2 tires into the grass on the way through the end of this first sector, so things are getting a little bit spicy back here.
Yeah, Will Orton most definitely feeling the pressure, losing time here. Feels a little bit like he is the cork in the bottle right now for a lot of these drivers. That Honda, that number 3 of Manu Realago, most definitely seems to be able to go much quicker than that number 6 Audi RS3. So should make a quick deal out of that and get past. I also have to say and add here, I'm most definitely impressed by the pace Manu Reolago is able to put out of that Honda, because I did not see that coming.
I didn't see it coming either, but across the line then with 10 minutes left to go. Of course, 15-minute race here, so it does tend to be over rather quickly, which is why there's not a lot of hanging around here in this battle for P4 and back. Manu Reolago continuing to try and apply the pressure to the back of Will Orton for the moment.
Oh, that's
whoa, hold on to it, Will. He's gathered it all up, but he's lost a little bit momentum on the way down in towards the chicane, but Olago does not have an opportunity to try and capitalize on that.
That was extremely skillfully managed to keep that car under control right out sideways because the grass, but still keeps it together, and most importantly keeps that 4th place away from Manu Reolago. This must get frustrating soon for that number 3.
Yeah, must be, but you can see Manu Reolago hugging that inside line just a little bit more, at least for the first apex of that double initial right-hander, and well, able to gain that much progress, but it seems to be that, well, this is where the actions all that potentially might happen over the course of this race. Of course, you can see a little bit further down the road, things have gotten a little bit closer for P2 between Figueroa and Wolf. So that's the thing we might have to consider looking at some point over the course of this race as well. But yeah, this is setting up to be a potentially quite interesting finish in these little battles that we've been watching. And Will Orton's doing a very, very good job to try and hold on to this 4th place at the moment, despite the relentless pressure that Manu Reolago is piling onto the back of that Audi. Again, looking to the inside just to keep him on his toes. There's no threat in that move whatsoever because he didn't get the run off the final corner, but it's just to make sure that Will Orton knows that, well, Olago's there in his mirrors.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an interesting move there from Manu Reolago, because with that jerking out to the inside, he actually lost all the momentum that he actually had on Will Orton. So maybe just didn't want to make a move in a turn 1 or something like that, but now himself under pressure by the number 5 and behind Michael Polasek, driving that Audi in behind, but no can do into the uphill chicane.
Yeah, nothing doing there as Polasek got a terrible run out, and well, we'll see what the effect of that is, because Ollie Peacock gained a bunch of ground on that full send driver ahead. But simply wasn't able to get anything done on him, and well, this battle remains, well, sort of stays with the status quo on the way in towards T1 this time around. It's pretty tough to try and get yourself an overlap here, but we will be expecting the drivers get a little bit more aggressive with that as time goes on and the laps remaining dwindle down. But 7 minutes to go now. Let's check in with your leaders to see what's going on up there. Adecopa Lopez has a over half a second gap. In fact, it's a 6/7 of a second gap between himself and Figueroa at the moment. And well, Figueroa has to be a little bit more concerned about what's behind him rather than going chasing what's ahead of him at the moment, because Kira Wolf is there, ready and waiting, and might be able to say something in these final 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, that Hyundai most definitely looks quite nasty at that bumper right now, wanting to get past, but also battle right in behind there. Look at that, it's too wide apparently between the Audi and the Honda now for the first time down the San Posi straight.
Yeah, look at that, down towards the inside as the full San car looks to the inside on Manu Reolago. So Alago, who've been saying has been applying the pressure all this time, all of a sudden gets himself swamped a little bit coming through the middle sector. So Polasek has been able to get his way through, and now Peacock is trying to have a go as well, but he won't have an overlap by the time the next right-hander arrives. And as a result, he's going to lose a whole bunch of momentum as well. And you can see the number 7 trying to get a pass done in towards the chicane, but that's a very, very tricky one to do. You've got to be careful with those curbs on the inside of those apexes as well.
Yeah, those sausage curbs are really, really awkward to take. You have to take them to be fast to that chicane, but you really need to be careful to not take too much, because you also can damage your car at the same time.
He's obviously on board with the Hyundai of Kira Wolf, going around the outside of the Audi for second place. Figueroa holding that line quite well, is able to keep himself ahead, but this is not the final statement that Kira Wolf is going to make as they look to try and take the big wide arc through the creatively named left-hander and then through the equally creatively named by the racetrack right-hander, as it's a whole bunch of opposite lock there from Figueroa to try and keep a hold of that car, and he's still under threat into the chicane.
Now, second time we have seen that from a driver, and second time also once again from an Audi RS3 driver. Maybe just the Audi that much more committed to the line than the Hyundai and the Honda in this particular corner.
Out of the final corner, Wolf isn't as close on this one as they were on the previous lap, still trying to sit inside of that slipstream all the way down in towards turn 1. Again, another little look towards the outside, but again, not really an overlap to work with this time around. It's very tricky to try and make your way around the outside there. You have to maintain that overlap all the way to the exit of the corner and then get the inside here for this section and hope that you're able to complete the move by the time that this, well, quote-unquote right-hander arrives, as is the official name on all the track maps. But 4 minutes to go now. Still this battle for P2 raging on. We've got that battle for P4 as well. That's still sort of in our peripherals, and well, it's now become our main focus because Polasek has just sent one down the inside of Orton at the chicane, and he's been able to gain the position. And Manu Riolago is looking to try and capitalize on this one as well. He's looking towards the outside, coming up towards under the Haggerty Bridge there, in towards the final corner. Here comes Ollie Peacock now to try and capitalize. Manu Riolago sliding back to the field, and door-to-door contact with cars further back as well. Flashing of the lights in anger. Oh my word, it's all getting a little bit too hot to handle here as Peacock and that is Radovsvak going side by side through turn number 1. This is fantastic action in the battle for P4 and back. It all calms down just for a moment though, but we've still got this battle for P2 to be concerned about as well. That was vintage touring car action back there as Wolf looks to try and pull off a move down in towards the chicane, takes the wider arc through the first apex. Figueroa's overcommitted to the corner though. He'll be slow coming off the chicane, but can Kira Wolf do anything about it? I don't think so.
A little bit of a touch there, I think, between the two over the right-hand kink. Now once again a bad line for the number 4, and Wolf has to make avoidance maneuvers. There we go.
Absolutely do. Here's the look once again, and you can see the battle in the background going on as well, but the battle for P2 is the more important one. Big swing around the outside from the Hyundai, the bright lime green car. Oh, struggling to keep a hold of it through the middle of turn 1 though, has to drop back behind. Figueroa has pulled off at an incredible defense so far, but he has to do it another couple more times for him to be secure in that second place. All of that has allowed Adiko Blobers to pull a 3-second gap on the rest of those podium runners, and who knows what might happen here for P4.
Yeah, just two incredible battles. I mean, all the battles that were kicked off by that 4th place overtake Polasek, that wasn't full send racing, that was maximum send passing what Polasek pulled off there for P4.
Oh, big clattering of the curb from Kira Wolf, and look at that, 2 tires into the grass as well. They are pushing. That's all the evidence that you needed. Another little attempt into T1. Nothing doing here. I think Wolf has figured out that the move around the outside of turn 1 is pretty unlikely. It has to be somewhere else, but where at this racetrack can you really more easily get yourself past? That's the thing, because the car ahead can just, well, keep that inside line through turn 1 and 2, and they're usually golden. We saw, of course, Polasek send one down the inside at the chicane, but that is a very, very low percentage move to have complete successfully.
Yeah, Joseph Santiago Figueroa is right now in full defense mode through the chicane, slowed it right up, didn't allow any momentum for Kira Wolf. Wolf even bumped the rear of Joseph Figueroa to say, come on, let's go. I want to make that pass done. I don't care for your defensive shenanigans.
This is the start of the final lap then, as we're riding on the back of Figueroa. Does Kira Wolf decide to use the bumper? Look at how close they're getting to the back of Figueroa. Oh, they're almost pushing them along the racetrack now, as there's still no way through for Kira Wolf. That battle for P4 has become more like a battle for P5 there in the background, but this might be the last chance Kira Wolf has to try and get by. Figueroa all over the racetrack, gets the back end out on the entry to the corner. He's able to gather it all up though, as Kira Wolf continues to apply so much pressure in the latter portions of this race. Time has now expired. Next time across the line will be the checkered flag. I think Figueroa's got one foot on that second step of the podium at the moment, unless Kira Wolf gets a massive run through the final corner. But unfortunately, I do not think it is going to happen, as Figueroa will come across the line P2 in a crazy race for that second place on the podium. But none of the moments, we didn't really get to see him for most of the race, but Adekoba Lopez takes the race win here at Lime Rock Park.
Yeah, and in the end by over 3.8 seconds. So a very great performance once again. Made all his moves count. Adekoba Lopez to pull away when the two were fighting over that second place.
Absolutely, and there's, everyone will finish. Everyone will get to the checkered flag, by the way, because Pipo Rodriguez in dead last place, and he had to come down towards the pit lane and take the fast repair. He will actually come across the line, albeit one lap down, to be classified in this race. So that is absolutely fantastic to see. But we will just have to take a moment here just to recompose ourselves a little bit and have a look at your final race results here from Lime Rock Park. Adekoba Lopez takes the race win from Joseph Figueroa, and then Kira Wolf also on the podium as well. It was a fantastic battle between the Audi and the Hyundai there for P2 and 3. Michael Polasek in P4 with Will Orton. P5, Ali Peacock finishes in P6 with Manuel Lago in P7. Zoran Radosovic in P8 with John Simeons in P9 and Rafael Lobato in P10. Then you've got the second half of the field. Nico Suarez finishes in 11th with Joao Moutinho in P12. Dylan Freckleton P13. Keam Heo in P14. Henrique Pentanari in P15. Martin Helsing in P16. Javier Care in P17. Alejandro Bentos in P18. And Pipo Rodriguez in P19. Everyone came across the line to take the checkered flag. So that was a little bit of an intriguing affair at Lime Rock Park, wasn't it, Stefan? What a fantastic fight, a duel for P2 between Figueroa and Wolf. That was firm and, well, in touring cars, firm has a more generous definition than at some other in some other disciplines. But most importantly, though, it was fair. The racecraft was pretty good between the two of them. I would have to say that Figueroa maybe did a little bit too much moving into braking zones for my liking. But again, no one's perfect. But we saw a good battle as a result, regardless.
Yeah, we saw a great battle for P2 between two great sportsmanship drivers, but also we had that very great battle for P4. 5 cars fighting it out for that, and then all of a sudden, because of one move, all hell breaks loose and gives us once again another great highlight in the already quite lengthy highlight reel that this series has produced thus far.
Yeah, this season has been absolutely incredible, and we can take another look at your schedule to see where we are going to next week. That is round 10 at Donington Park National Circuits. It's, certainly no stranger to touring car racing, that circuit, of course. One of the circuits that's the British Touring Car Championship goes to. Absolutely fantastic stuff. But we head to another British track that also hosts touring cars in the real world, Alton Park, for round number 11. And of course, we end the season at Laguna Seca for round number 12 on the 3rd of February. So, great little roster of racetracks to finish off this season. Stefan, which is your favourite out of those final 3 that we're going to?
It has to be Alton Park Island. It's sadly not the full layout, but the island is still a very great layout. I really love that backhand chicane right there with that immense banking that it offers. Also offers some very great passing machines on top of that, but even that island hairpin, it's very tight. The approach is very fast, so mistakes can easily be made, and it also is one of the best passing opportunities that Alton Park has to offer.
Yeah, that's going to be an intriguing one, but we do head to Donington before we get to Alton for our double header of British tracks towards the end of the season. But that is all that we're going to have time for here for at least this part of Friday Night Primetime. But do stick around on the RaceSpotTV channel, as we will be streaming a split of the one of the VRS races as a little bit of a preview for the Bathurst 12-hour, the iRacing Bathurst 12-hour this weekend. That will also be here on RaceSpotTV as well. But with that, we will unfortunately have to end it here for this portion of the broadcast. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining us for this, the Touring Car Challenge here for Friday Night Primetime here on iRacing. But that is not the end of the broadcast here on RaceSpotTV. We will have the Bathurst preview coming up in just a little bit. It'll be on a different link, so go to our channel and find that one. But for this one, we will have to say goodbye.